hello, manifestors. So, not one, but two SP success stories in 1 week. So, I think it is a good reason to make a video about SP success stories today, but not just to report an SP or two SP's success stories, but to show you why it happened. So if you are new here, please subscribe, like, share, comment, and stay tuned until the end so you too can manifest your SP. So I've got two SP success stories in 1 week from ex-clients. One a female, one a male. So that's perfect, right? We have both sides of the fences, so to speak. The second one I'm going to discuss, I knew about it about a couple of weeks ago or so already, but it was not made public. But since both of them became public at the same time, it's a good opportunity to make a video about it. And I want you to understand something, first of all, is that in both cases, they fully understood and realized that it was all about them. All right? It's never about the SP. It's always, always about you. So I'm saying this because if you are still playing the card, my SP this, my SP that, if you're still somewhere inside a victim, and you still feel victim of your SP, no matter what they did or didn't do, you are not on your way to manifest them. Because no matter what the success story, it's always when the person takes full responsibility and does the work on themselves that they manifest their SP. All right? So actually, both those stories came this week, but one of them, the second one I'm going to mention, I knew it for about a couple of weeks or so. It's just that the person made it public in my Facebook group this week as well. And also, so you know, I asked permission, even though they are success stories, I asked permission to each one of those people to talk about their success stories. So one is a woman, one is a man, so that's perfect. We have both case scenarios, and we are going to start with the lady, and then we're going to talk about the guy. So here's what she says. Hey Sylviane, my SP is back. I just wanted to tell you since you've been a massive part of my journey. I'm almost in shock as I write this. And it took me one day. I just cut out all the BS and told myself, enough. So this person is not any different than you. She had been manifesting her SP for a little while now, right? Let's say more than just a few months, just like many of you, to tell you the truth, right? But look at the key words here. How long did it take her to manifest her SP? One day. That's the key word here. One day. Many of you are asking me on a regular basis, can I ruin my manifestation? And my answer is no. You can never ruin your manifestation, but you sure can delay it. Of course you can, because it's all coming from you. Your SP, whoever they are, wherever they are, they don't matter in your manifestation. We don't care about what they say, what they do, if they have one third party or three. We don't care. What matters is you. You, and only you. Because as long as your SP is part of your world, part of your consciousness, you are the only one to change and stop pushing them away, right? So that person here, that young lady here, it took her one day to understand that it was enough. So it took her that one day, even that one moment, to realize that it was all about her, that this whole time she was the one pushing the SP away. I told a client not long ago, as he was telling me all the stuff that goes through his mind once in a while, I was helping him to be aware that what he was telling me is imagination. When you have negative chats about your SP, about you and your SP, about your relationship with your SP, that's your imagination running right there. And imagination, well, it creates, it manifests, right? You don't imagine only when you sit down or lie down and close your eyes. You imagine all the time. So the best way you guys keep on pushing away those SPs or creating hot and cold behavior is by running your imagination by default without even being aware of what you're doing. And this young lady here was like everybody else. She had been doing that as well. But she realized at some point that it was all about her. And the moment, the one day that she realized that it was all her and that she had to change the way she felt, she did it, and boom. The next day, she received a text from him, and everything unfolded from there. So that's the thing, guys. If you've been manifesting your SP for months and even for a few years, trust me, it's very common that people are manifesting an SP for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. In that case, the only reason you are still where you are is because you have not yet accepted the fact, number one, that it's all you, and number two, that all it takes is a shift in consciousness. That's what happened to this lady here. She had a shift in one evening. She had a shift in consciousness. She realized that it was all about her, and she said, enough is mine, it's done. That's all she did. And after all those many months, she did manifest her SP back. Let's read a little bit more what she says, because I know some of you are going to ask. I was reading, watching, and absorbing as much info as I could until I got to the point where I was like, this needs to stop. So last night I told myself that SP is mine, and I stated as fact, the same way that my mom is my mom and my dad is my dad. And I feel like something just changed inside me because I wasn't forcing myself to believe. I just firmly but fairly stated it myself as fact. And then I woke up in the morning and had a message from him. And he's been messaging non-stop, being really eager to talk, asking if things can go back to normal between us. So what she had here, it's a shift in consciousness. That's why it happened so fast within and then so fast without. Because as within, so without. And when I read success stories like this, it reminds me of my story that you may know if you've watched the 2 videos where I tell about my own specific person story. When I knew that my man was mine, it was very quick, very instant. It was just snap, a snap. The next day, I received a friendship request on Facebook. 10 days later, he had a dream about me where I was with him instead of his wife. And by the middle of the next month, he started coming towards me and never stopped after that. It was very fast. And it was someone that, according to the 3D reality rules, was not even free. But it happened very fast. And only 2 months after that shift in consciousness, where I decided this man is mine, 2 months. Can you imagine that? Someone that wasn't actually free. Someone which I had no idea if he would ever like me. But that wasn't my concern. My only concern is I have a shift in consciousness. I make a decision and I feel it from within. And my world, I don't care who it is, what it is, will shape itself after my imaginal act. And you guys, as long as you don't fully understand this and have faith in it, you will never be a conscious manifester that really manifests on command. But the moment you understand that and you practice that, your world is going to change. The only problem is that many of you are letting your rational mind dictate things. And the more your rational mind is heavy on you, the less your conscious manifesting is efficient. The more you let go of this reasoning, rational mind and trust your imagination, the more you will change your world. So you really need to work on that if you want to become a conscious manifester, manifesting everything that you want. Not just an SP, but anything and everything that you want. Now let's move on to our next story. Finally, I take the time to write this message to tell you that anything is possible. You just have to persevere. Like many other before me, and like many after me, it was about recovering an SP. Well, that's what I thought at first. But basically, it was about recovering me and only me. We constantly talk about self-concept, and it is the key to everything. I understood this relatively early with the law. But like when you learn to ride a bike, you fall and you get up. Let me tell you that I came from afar, that my self-concept was more than crap, that there were difficult circumstances, but all of it did not matter. The moment I really realized it all started with me and only me, I became unstoppable. I stopped giving power to doubts. I stopped worrying about the when and the how. I simply chose that I decided to be the one who already has what he wants, and that the old me no longer has any power. Today, we're back together. We are happy, and the relationship is completely different. It's normal. I'm different. I didn't get my SP back. I got myself back, the real me. Indeed, this young man had a certain pattern in his consciousness due to his self-concept that was sabotaging him big time. And let me tell you, there were some tough times, okay, that I can remember, especially one particular one, when he had his SP for a very short time and boom, she was gone again. But this person did not give up. That's another thing that some of you do. You give up because it's so tough that instead of moving forward, you give up. But this guy did not give up because he had something going for him. And it's that I knew that he had faith in the law. He had no doubt about that. He knew that the law is the law, and he had faith in the law. And he understood that it was all about him. And I think when you have those two things, and if you don't have those two things, by the way, you have to do something about it, because that's going to be tough for you to manifest anything. But he had those two things going for him. He had faith in the law, and he knew, he understood, he had no doubt about it, that it was all about him. That no matter what the SP was doing, it was just a shadow of what was going on inside of him. What is a shadow? As I said in my last podcast, it's just a reflection. And it's not for nothing that Neville called this world a shadow or the world of shadows. What is a shadow? It's nothing, right? A shadow is absolutely nothing. It's just a reflection. And that's what the world is. I was just telling a client yesterday how my world completely shifted, how people nowadays are so different towards me than they used to be, like day and night. Why? They didn't change. It's not people who have changed. It's me. It's me. So people are reflecting me completely differently. Completely differently. There's not even any comparison between what I used to manifest in people back in the days and now. No comparison whatsoever. Because the world, your 3D physical world, is only a reflection 100% of who you are. So this young man here understood that. So he kept working on himself. He did it for many months. He worked on himself. He worked on building himself up, on rising in consciousness, rising in self-concept. And finally, he got his desire. He's a brand new person now. He finally killed the old man, something that I tell all my clients to do. I always tell them you have to kill the old man, because as long as this old man is still alive in you, it's going to manifest the old stuff that belongs to the old man. Once you kill the old man, then what's going to manifest in your world is a reflection of the new man, right? And the best way to kill the old man is by going in your imagination and imagining that you are someone completely different than what you used to be. And in imagination, there is no restriction whatsoever. You can be and have anything that you want. And you can definitely use affirmations if it helps, as long as you don't use your affirmations from a needy place or from a lacking place, because in that case, it's not going to work for you. And you're going to be one of those cases where I hear and read people say, when I affirm, I get nervous or I get frustrated. That's just because you're using affirmations wrong. So in that case, forget about affirmations, because affirmations are still something you do in the 3D anyway. Go in your imagination, where you can shut off the 3D completely and imagine that you are who you want to be. Not even to get something, as I also mentioned in a recent podcast, but to be something. Neville said that. Neville said, don't try to get something, but be that person that has the thing that you want. Do you get the difference here? Because if you are trying to get something from being the person that doesn't have that thing, it's not going to work. You have to become, in imagination, the person who has the thing already. That's completely different. And when you do that, well, you do what those two people did, right? Those two SP success stories did. They became that person who has that SP of theirs. They didn't try to get the SP. It's very important that you get this, guys, once and for all. That understanding is key as well. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed those two success stories. I certainly enjoy hearing about them and knowing those two people personally and knowing where they come from and that they finally got their desire. And it's just one of them. You know, an SP is just one of your many desires. Hopefully, it's not the only desire that you have. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please, if you did, don't forget to subscribe if you have not yet. Like, comment, share, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.